One second. Okay. Recording is on. We'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminati Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. Dear devotees, thank you all for joining today. Let me share my presentation. We are starting from 4.7, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. I will share my screen. Okay. You all are able to see my screen, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you once again. Very grateful for your presence here today. So we are starting 4.7. That's where we started. So we will continue. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 This is 4.7. Yada yada hi dharmasya
Yada yada hi dharmasya
glanir bharata
glanirбhavati bharata
abhyutthanam adharmasya
abhyutthanam dharmasya
tadatmanam srajamiham.
tadatmanam srajamahim.
Any volunteer for translation, please?
Yes.
Do you have Bhagavad Gita with you? Yeah, go
No,
ahead, Mataji.
I don't have.
Okay, give me 1 second. I will share that one as well. Sorry, I should have put that in, but just give me 1 second. And I will, rather than sharing this, I will share the entire screen here. Please go ahead, Mataji, with the translation.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Very beautiful. So, This verse and the verse following 4.7, these are the two verses which are very well known. At least even for anybody who didn't even read Bhagavad Gita, has no idea about Bhagavad Gita, but these are the two verses everyone remembered based on Ramanand Sagar's or whatever that Doordarshan serial used to come. So these are the two verses very common. And Krishna here says that I actually appear in this world when there is a decline in religious practice, and then which means a predominant of religion, and at that time I descend myself. So what you see in this beautiful picture, there are different incarnation of the Lord. Some of them are direct incarnation of the Lord, some of them are empowered personality. Like you see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you see Krishna Balram, and then you also see Vishnu here. So they are direct incarnation, Lord Rama. But there are some who are empowered personality to actually establish the religion. So they are actually empowered personality. So what we see, the purpose of Lord's appearance. So um Srijami means manifest. What is the purpose of Lord's appearance? There are two. One is to establish the principles of dharma. So whenever there is increase in adharma, to re-establish dharma, Lord appears. So what is the established principles of dharma? Where when there is a predominance of irreligiosity and disappearance of true religion, that is the time when actually Krishna appears. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, verse 19, it says, establish the principle of religion, which is the highest principle, which is 18.66. So, from Krishna's manifestation perspective, eternally Krishna is present in Golok Vrindavan. We were elaborately discussing about that chart where actually we see, where did that go? Okay, I think something is wrong with that one, not able to show up here. But yeah, give me 1 second. I'll quit here. Give me 1 second. I'll show this picture. Ah, let me pull up here. Can you see Vedic cosmology picture, all of you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you. So what does Krishna say here? That he is present in Golok Vrindavan. That is what we were just seeing here. So that's actually um Lord's present there. So he is eternally present in Golok Vrindavan. Lord is not created or is not born. Like for an example, you see Narsimhadev. Who's the father of Narsimhadev? If one asks the question on that part, can we say pillar is the pillar is the birth parent of Narsimhadev? No, Lord can appear. Not like any of us, we are forced to take birth and we are forced to take death. And we go through series of challenges in our life which is not what we intended for, but they do come. So we are forced by whatever happens by the material nature, but Lord is not like that. That's why the God is not created or is not born. He manifests by his free will. Whenever he wants to appear, he appears. For an example, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful description of how Varahadev came. How did Lord Varahadev came? When Bhumi, the earth planet where we are living right now, was under the deep ocean, and then Brahmaji wanted to solve the problem. He wanted to bring the Bhumi Devi up, but he wasn't able to. So that's where he prayed to Lord Vishnu. And from his nostril, the boar avatar came. The boar came, small, tiny boar from his nose. And then from them he grew, and he become like a sky, touching the sky. And then he went and lifted the mother Bhumi from the deep ocean and brought it back. So he manifests by his free will, not that we have to force that he has to appear. And he's a scheduled incarnation, which is end of Dwapar Yoga, 28th cycle. We will see that seventh Manu. No obligation to this rule, which means it's crystal clear when he will appear. It is predicted when he will exactly appear, and sometime he descend himself or sends his representative, which we saw in the previous picture. So the avatar comes with a mission, and they are mentioned in scripture. Lead people to God consciousness and obedience to principles of religion. That is actually is the purpose of Lord's appearance. So, like we were discussing about, when does Lord appear? When we see from that current period perspective, right? What you see is previous Swayambhava Manu, he comes first, and then exactly after the sixth, you see seventh is the place which is 28. That's the time. Once in day of Brahma, Lord Krishna followed by Lord Chaitanya appears in Swayam Rupa. Swayam Rupa means its original Rupa. Swayam means its original, not that he has to take different form, right? So that is what is being mentioned here. What you see is the age of different yugas, which we covered briefly in last to last session. That Kali Yuga is the smallest period, which is 4,32,000. Double is the Dwapar. Even more double is Treta. And double than Treta is Satyuga. Right? That's how, excuse me, that's how these yugas are mentioned. And this is 28th is the place when actually Krishna appears in this material world. And what is the meaning of Srajami? Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. He mentions that it cannot be used in the sense of creation, because according to previous verse, there is no creation of Lord's form or body. We all have a beginning and end from the body perspective. But you don't see any beginning and end to Lord's body, because his body and soul is not different. For us, body is different, soul is different. Since all the forms are eternally existent, so if I go back to the picture again, you see this beautiful unlimited spiritual planets. He was just talking about the Varaha avatar, and which is what is mentioned. So all different incarnation of the Lord, they are here. Narsinga, they appear here. Lord Vishnu is there. Oh, sorry, this is Ayodhya Dham. Sorry, Ayodhya Dham is up. This is Lord Vishnu sitting with Lakshmi, and this is Ayodhya Dham. So different incarnation. Here is Lord Buddha. So different incarnation of the Lord, they eternally exist. Not that they appear and disappear from that perspective. So that's what is mentioned. Since all the forms are eternally existent, Baladev Vidyabhushan writes and Srila Prabhupada writes, it means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. So Buddha appears as he is. Not that he, like for an example, when we take birth, based on which part of the world we take birth, our skin color is different, or our physical appearance is different. But Lord doesn't change. Like for an example, Krishna is blue, he is always blue. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden, he is golden. When he appears, he'll appear in his original form, not like all of us. So Madhusudan Saraswati is a very well-known author. He says, I show that body which existed eternally as if it were created by my energy. I manifest myself. This is Krishna is telling. Although the Lord appears on schedule, which is fixed time, namely at the end of Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of 7th Manu in one day of Brahma, fixed location Krishna. He has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulation, because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. He can do activities based on his desire. We are forced actually, even if we want to, you know what, um say for an example, we plan from 7 years from now I would go to so and so place and I will travel that day. We may say that, but it doesn't work that way. Sometimes even when we book our flights, we don't know when the schedule has to change, sorry, when we need to change or we need to cancel the flight. But Lord's appearance is not like that. So when we talk about Krishna's avatar, when does he appear? Where does he appear? The purpose, who all descend, are principles taught same or different? So when we say when does he appear? Whenever principles of surrender are disturbed by the demonic people. And everything he has a mission. For example, Buddha, when he came to stop animal slaughter. And where does he appear? Not only on Indian soil, he can manifest anywhere and everywhere he desires. Not that he has to appear only on Indian soil. That is up to him. We may feel proud about it, or may feel good about it, saying that, oh, we are from the from the place where Lord Krishna appeared, which is great, but not necessary. He is restricted from that perspective. And what is the purpose? To speak about religion according to the level of audience. So Buddha, when he actually brought in um, the ahimsa philosophy, which is not killing animals, because people wouldn't actually accept spirituality at all. For them to understand, oh, let's at least let Buddha's was like, at least let me stop them killing animals, because they will go to lower hellish planets if they kill animals. That's very prevalent actually, even in today's world. It's just obnoxious actually, everywhere it is like that. So mission is the same, to lead people to God consciousness and to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. So that's why even not directly Lord has to come, sometime his Shaktivesh avatar. Shaktivesh avatar means that they are empowered personality by the Lord. Like Srila Prabhupada, what is his purpose to appear here? He was in spiritual world. He appeared here to establish the dharma. Same purpose, to give Krishna consciousness to others. Same with Lord Chaitanya came to give Krishna consciousness to others. He is not Shaktivesh avatar. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna himself. But he came with a similar purpose. And who all descends? Sometimes Lord descends personally. Sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son, servant, or himself in disguised form. And our principles taught same or different? Same only, may appear varied in different circumstances. So we may think that, oh, how come Buddha said like that? How come this? It may appear different, but they are not same. They are not different. For an example, 2 and 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, valid both in beginner's arithmetic as well as advanced class, which is important. There is no difference from that perspective. One time, Akbar and Birbal were there, and then Akbar asked this question to Birbal that when Birbal was actually a devotee of the Lord, and Akbar was a Muslim ruler, but he was very favorable actually. So he asked the question to Birbal that, my dear Birbal, I heard in your scriptures that Narsingadev personally appeared to save Prahlad Maharaj. Why the Lord has to come personally? Can't he send his servants? Birbal said, I'll answer that. That he used to be very tricky. He would think about the examples and then come back. So next day, Akbarji was walking in a garden, and he had a beautiful lake near to the garden. So he had his son who was playing near the lake, and he fell off in the lake actually, his son. So immediately Akbar removed his clothes and jumped into the lake to actually save his son and brought him out. So he came back, and Birbal said to Akbar that, Jahapana, why you had to go? You could have send your servants, right, to actually save your son. Why you had to go yourself? Why did you jump in? And Akbar said, because he's my son. I'm attached to him. I want to take care of him myself. Why do I actually think about others? So I just, out of love, I just jumped right away. So Birbal said, that's your answer for yesterday's question. You were asking why Lord personally has to come. He can send his servants, but he appears out of his own accord, out of his love. And that's a very important point to bring in here. Any questions or comments so far?
No.
Okay.
I'm glad you repeated this example because in last class that was cut off in the recording when you were talking about this Akbar Bible story.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you,
Mm,
Mataji. I think the
yeah,
recording only lasts for 1 hour. I didn't find out a way to actually extend
yeah.
that, but thank you, Mataji, for bringing that. So, what is the dharma here? And what if the dharma is not followed? Who all can manufacture dharma? So, if we see three categories from dharma perspective, so principles of religion laid down in the Vedas. What is dharma? It is not you and me can define dharma. It is actually dharma is defined by Vedas. And the purpose of Vedas is to establish principles under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vedas are the words emanating from God's mouth, Krishna's mouth. And highest dharma is Bhagavad Gita 18.66 when we reach there, but it basically talks about Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshasyami Mahasuchaha. That leave all variety of religion and surrender unto me, and I will make sure to protect you. This is actually dharma. And what if dharma is not followed? Makes one irreligious, and the result of that is very sinful. I was just contemplating on this point actually. Most of the public, most of the people don't even care about, oh, what is papa, what is sin. I don't care about it. A lot of people don't even know about it, and even if we know, we don't actually think about it every moment. Oh, if I do this, then I'm going to suffer. But when the difficulty comes in our life, that is just covers our whole existence actually, and we don't know what to do in that time. And this is the reaction of the sin which we didn't even care about when we perform those activities which are sinful. We don't even think about it. But when they come on us as a reaction, at that time we actually understand how careful I should be to not perform sin. For an example, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that anything which is eaten without offering to him is a sin. So very simple definition. Yeah, anything which is not offered to Krishna is basically you're eating sin if you're not eating prasad. And okay, I heard it. We take it lightly. But when the reaction of the sin comes in, we are bewildered, and we can't actually handle those things. Whether these are health issues, whether they are financial issues, whether those are relationship issues, or sometimes these are mental issues. We can't actually handle some of these things, and it is our sinful activities. So one has to be really careful actually not to perform the sin. So Madhvacharya writes the word glanir bhavati bharata, which means glanir does not mean decline, as is often translated, but glanir means obscure, covered. When the religion is covered, right? For an example, today is a gloomy day, it's a lot of clouds and all that stuff. Not that the sun doesn't exist. So similar way, when the dharma is there but it is covered, that's the time when Krishna appears. If dharma meaning eternal righteous, it's a perennial principle, then it must be devoid of any modification of decline. Wow, this is a very beautiful point. To elaborate more on that, because that's actually a higher principle, then it cannot be declined. For an example, if something is pure, it has to be pure. If it is contaminated, that means it's not pure. So dharma does not decline because that's not the quality of dharma, but it is actually covered. It has to exist eternally in pristine purity. What happens is that dharma becomes obscure to the masses due to material influence on the mind agitated by the effects of sense gratification by the onslaught of maya or illusion. How many of today we three people are here studying Bhagavad Gita. How many people are there in Michigan? So many people. How many of them are sitting thinking about we should study Bhagavad Gita, we should come together and understand the purpose of life? So that is what is being mentioned. Is basically when dharma becomes obscure to the masses due to material influence on the mind. We want to celebrate every festival, even for Indians, Easter. What is not there? So many things. But when it comes to coming to temple, practicing spiritual life, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, reading Bhagavad Gita, that is not their priority, not at all. Unfortunate situation actually. Darkness cannot hide sunlight, but due to clouds, our vision of the sun may be hampered. So, not that the sun is not visible does not mean the sun is not existing. If we go in the flight, we go up the clouds, then we can see the sun. The darkness cannot hide the sun. Our vision of sun may be hampered because we are sitting down. Any questions or comments before we go to verse 8?
No, Prabhu.
And
Okay, thank you.
I was
Go ahead, Mataji.
I was thinking when you said that God appears whenever He sees some dharma is not followed or something is
Yeah,
bad is going to
yeah.
happen. So I was thinking in
Mm.
daily life when we have some challenges, we think that something is not happening, but when it happens, maybe that is also one way of God appearing us and giving us solutions how to go through that space.
Yes, Mataji, you brought up a good point. Being Paramatma is there in everyone's heart. And when we take up the path of devotional service, when we take the path of bhakti, Krishna personally intervenes into everyone's lives. For an example, when we are say you have a you like I remember my old days, right? So when I would go to school, for certain teachers I would like for teachers I would follow their instruction as it is in toto and would please them. And when the time comes, the teachers will come and help us because they feel, yeah, this person is following me. He's not just being intellectual, but he follows the instruction. I remember, maybe I shared it before. I had a teacher in my class, and I would just sincerely follow. So I was kind of his best student, or however you put that in. So one time there was a race. I don't know whether that still exists today, but it used to be there, where rather than cycling fast, you have to be the slowest.
Yeah.
And then you shouldn't put your feet down when you are actually biking. If you put your feet down, you're out.
Mhm.
So that's how myself and there was another guy who were left. And it was a kind of a tough tie there. And I, again, sorry to say that, but I just want to share. So I put my finger, the toe, down on the floor. So the same teacher was actually as a he was watching, he was the judge there. He didn't say anything, and I moved on. I won it, whatever it is.
Mhm.
So why am I sharing this, Pasim? Let's connect to that one. So when actually we take up the path of bhakti, we become the close devotee of it. God is not partial to anyone. Like the parent is not partial to two of his children or multiple children. But if the one child is listening carefully to his parents, he happens to be the favorite child of the parent. Not that he does not like the parent, or mother or father does not like the other child, but this guy listens. Like that's how it happens. So similar way, when we actually take up the path of devotional service and be sincere, Lord actually appears and actually takes over the charge of our life. That does not mean everything is just going to be very nice, because based on our karma things will manifest, but he will be there. Like the very well known story which we always remember about, there was a person, whenever he would walk, he would see 4 feet on the sand, and life was going smooth and he would always see that. But now he was going through rough phase in his life, and at that time what he saw, there were only 2 feet visible.
Yeah.
So he called God, my Lord, when everything was going well, you were walking with me, and now when the difficulties are there, you left me there. Then God spoke to him, my dear boy, my dear child, the 2 feet which you see on the sand are my footprint, and I'm holding you. And that is actually the significance, that he guides, Lord guides from within our heart, saying that what is right and what is not right. And we have to follow that. There are two dogs which we have, a good dog and bad dog within us. Well, we shouldn't use the word dog, but just that paraphrase so that we can understand that aspect. So the Paramatma is actually the one who is guiding us as well, and mind is also guiding. So mind is like a bad dog. So that guy says, "Oh, forget it, man. Relax. It's a nice weather. Why are we just one day Bhagavad Gita? If you haven't read, what's such a big deal?" But then we say, "Okay, now I have to take care of this. I have to do this. Not every week I can make it and all this stuff." So then slowly we just fade away, because now we started listening the voice of the mind rather than Paramatma. So one has to be very conscious enough to hear the voice of Paramatma. Does it make sense, Mataji?
Yeah. Thanks.
Very good. Let's read. This is again second verse, which we all know. Paritranaya sadhuna
Paritranaya sadhunam
vinashaya cha dushkritam
vinashaya cha dushkritam
dharma sansthapanataya
dharma samsthapanarthaya
sambhavami yuge yuge.
sambhavami yuge yuge.
Any volunteers for translation 8?
We can do.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
Very nice. So, why does the Lord appears in every yuga, millennium after millennium? For three reasons. One is to deliver the pious people who are actually pious, who are devoted, to deliver those people and annihilate the demons, the miscreants. And the third one is to establish dharma. And you see, this is big Mahabharat war, specifically done for that purpose, to actually establish dharma, to protect Pandavas, and annihilate Kauravas who are actually very sinful. So, what is purpose of Lord's appearance? He appears millennium after millennium, like Krishna appeared, and then in Kali Yuga, which we are living in, is who is that Kali Yuga avatar? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, what is the purpose of Lord's appearance? Satisfy his unalloyed devotees, deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, and re-establish the principles of religion. So, when we say satisfy his unalloyed devotees, mitigate anxieties of pure devotees who are anxious to see his Vrindavan pastimes. We know about Prahlad Maharaj. One example, just so many examples are there, but Prahlad Maharaj. How many atrocities he has to face, and who is his enemy? Is actually his father himself, who actually ordered to kill him. How many difficulties he had to go through. And Narsingadev appeared from the pillar to mitigate the anxieties of Prahlad Maharaj, who want to actually meditate on Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes. Krishna appeared in Vrindavan. And different pastimes which Krishna performed in Vrindavan are our life and soul. And deliver the pious sadhus. Sadhus is a man in Krishna consciousness, not that someone has to wear the orange robe, then they become sadhu. And two kinds of miscreants are there. One are foolish, which is dushkritam, and second are lowest of the mankind. I think I have to correct the dushkritam. Maybe I'm just missing something, but that's these are the two kind of dushkritam, actually foolish or lowest of mankind, and re-establish the principles of religion. That is why Lord appears. So when we think about Lord Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is actually about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, talks about this one. So Krishna has three rupa: Shama rupa, Tad Ekatma rupa, Avashesha rupa, Avesha rupa. So from Shama rupa perspective, this is little deep, so I will skip this one. This will be coming little later. Um, and I will skip this one as well, and this one as well. Sorry. So Akbar and Birbal pastime I covered. So what is Baladev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says? But your devotees, the saintly kings, appear to wipe out the rise of adharma and destruction. So why do you say that you appear in order to do this? That Krishna can do that. Like for an example, when Ravana kidnapped Mother Sita, the same Lord Ram is there as a Paramatma in the heart of Ravana as well. He could have destroyed him, saying that, oh, heart attack will happen and he will die right away. Or he is living at the shore of ocean. The ocean waves can actually create some kind of um what is that they call it as um
Tides.
flood, tides, high tides, flood, or any that comes and it can wipe out whole Lanka except Sri Sita Maya. One may say like that. But Lord personally appears actually. Why? Because he wanted to actually come and deliver Jatayu, Hanuman, and Ravana's own brother. Right? This is important aspect, which is that's why Lord appears. So three reasons for Krishna's appears is my devotees are absorbed in relishing my form and qualities. They long to see my form and thus suffer from not seeing my form. Devotees want to see, like Vidur was there in Mahabharata. Very powerful devotee actually. And same way Bhishma Dev. So Lord actually personally appears to show them beautiful form. Like on the right hand side, you see beautiful Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, Varaha avatar, right? Parshuram avatar, Lord Ram avatar, Balramji, Krishna, Kalki. They want to show the darshan to his devotees in order to deliver them from their suffering by showing my attractive form directly I appear. This is what Krishna says. Ramanujacharya, right? They regard even a moment's time without me as 1,000 kalpas. We talked about kalpas, what they are actually. So the devotees feel separation. My Lord, when will I see your beautiful form? And Lord, to fulfill their desire, that's his primary motive. Like it spoke in Akbar Birbal this. Why does he have to personally appear? Because not he has to, he can kill them, like I said about Ravana. But he wants to give his darshan to his devotees. They become broken in every limb because of the separation from me. So I appear from age to age in the form of gods, men, etc., for protecting them by affording them the opportunity to behold my form and acts and to converse with me. Dhruv Maharaj. What a beautiful communication, actually. What a beautiful devotional life he led. Within 6 months, he was able to see Lord Vishnu face to face, right? So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord Krishna descends for the specific purpose for mitigating the anxieties of pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastime. So though Bhagavad Gita says he appears to establish dharma, annihilate the miscreants and protect his devotees, but his intention, pure and right intentions, he want to give his darshan to his devotees who are eagerly waiting to see his form and his leela. Like you see on the right hand side here, Krishna lifting Govardhan hill for 7 days and 7 nights. Actually, there is a party going on under the Govardhan Parvat. On top, Indra is trying to destroy Vrindavan and Vrajavasis, but under the Govardhan hill, there is a party going on for all 7 days and 7 nights. So can't Krishna stop the thunder, whatever Indra is creating? Oh, he is ultimately the supreme person of God, and even Indra is under his this thing. He could do that. He can destroy Indra in a minute, but he doesn't want to do that. He want to actually spend his beautiful pastimes. Every opportunity is actually is to be remember Krishna and to go towards Krishna. That is a very important aspect there. So Vinashaya cha Duskritam. I also appear to destroy those performing evil deeds. Duskritam, person like Ravana and Kamsa who cannot be killed by anyone except me, who torment my devotees. It is not improper for the Lord to kill, for he bestows on them the bliss of liberation. That cruelty is transformed into an act of mercy. This is very interesting. If we kill someone, of course we don't do that, but if we do that, then actually the result is very heinous. But when Lord actually, by his power, even kill those demons, they get liberated. Like I gave an example the other day about when Rajsuya Yagya was going on, Shishupal was given a benediction that if as long as he is remains, he would just use bad words for Krishna. But as long as he doesn't cross 100, then he will be protected. But in Rajsuya Yagya, when everybody announced Krishna should be worshipped as a Yagya Purusha, then he started blaspheming Krishna and he went beyond 100, and Lord released the Sudarshan Chakra and chop off his head. And what everyone saw in the assembly is that the soul of Shishupal entered into Krishna's body. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking this question to Narada Muni. This guy was so sinful. He was speaking all kind of ill words, blaspheming the Lord. How is that he got liberation? That is actually the beauty of Lord Shri Krishna. So, as the mother chastising a child to raise him up is not cruelty. Similarly, Lord's action is not cruelty. Sometimes mother gives left and right, or a father gives left and right to children because if they are not following, not that they want to do that out of this thing. They want to correct their children. Yatha chaham lalane tadane. Just like a mother shows karunya to his child, Lord is also like that to award the devotee liberation and dharma sanstapana. I also appear to spread dharma, pure bhakti yoga with the meditation on me and deity worship only to me, and Vedic dharma as well, which cannot be spread by anyone other than me. Ramanujacharya, right? The main purpose of incarnation is the revealing of his adorable form so that all may worship him. Destruction of wicked is secondary. Right? So, what is the difference between the sadhu and Dushkrita? A person in Krishna, when I say men, it's basically women as well. There's nothing to do with anyone who's in Krishna conscious. May appear to be religious, but if one has a qualification of Krishna conscious wholly and fully, one is a sadhu because ultimately, for an example, now very rare here, but it happens in India very graphically. When we during rainy season we go out and play, and our whole clothes are muddy, we are completely muddy and all that stuff. When we come home, then when we stand under the shower, so some part of the body is clean and some part of body is still being cleaned up. That does not mean that person is impure or pure. Yeah, we are going through purification. We may not be pure today, but as long as we are practicing Krishna consciousness, being devotional, then ultimately all those anarthas, all those unwanted things which are deep rooted within our heart will be washed away by the path of bhakti. And dushkritas are don't care about Krishna consciousness. A person who is a sent person engaged in Krishna consciousness may be neither learned nor well cultured. Sometimes we see, like I gave an example about Mrigrari, a hunter. He was killing animals, not coming from a good culture background. But as long as one comes to the path of bhakti, then that person, right, can actually become very powerful devotees. That's the power of bhakti. And foolish and lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated by mundane education. So one may have PhD, one may have everything, but if that doesn't have the abhushan or the jewelry of Krishna consciousness devotion life, then it is like a dead body. Lord specially descend to appease his unalloyed devotees who are harassed by the demonic. For an example, Prahlad Maharaj or Devaki by Kamsa. Lord can vanquish demons through his many agents. Any questions or comments so far?
No, Prabhu. You mentioned that in few slides back that there is a liberation. So that means that that soul will not be reborn.
Hmm. Very good question. Let me. Can you see this picture, Mataji?
Yeah.
So up to this circle, the one which is shown in green, it actually
Mhm.
is green because of the Garbhadakshay ocean. Okay, Mataji. So
Mhm.
this is sweat which is coming from Karnadakshay Vishnu, not filthy as our sweat, which is very not at all. This is yeah. You have to apply. We have to apply deodorant to actually get there, but that's not how Karnadakshay ocean is like that. So when we talk about liberation, they actually get the psych. They get away from the material world. This is where the material world is. They don't go to the spiritual world here.
Mhm.
They actually, when they get liberation, they enter here to Brahman Jyoti. So from here, and what is the meaning of Brahman Jyoti? Of course, I said that this is the light emanating from Krishna's body, like the light emanates from sun that reaches to earth. It's not the sun is in our house; it's the rays of the sun are in our house. Similar way, Brahman Jyoti, it is actually the light emanating from Krishna's body. What is the significance of that place, or what are the attributes of that place? The attributes of that place is there is there is only light. There are no relationship, there are no people. You just close your eyes and you just do meditation. But the challenge with us is we are actually active. You see how many days we can just sit lazy and just sleep. We just want activity, we want to do different activities. I want to go here, I want to buy this, I want to do this. So there is a tendency to do variety of things there, but in Brahman Jyoti it is nothing like that. So what happens is, even though they are above the material platform, but there is shunyavad, which means they have nothing to do here. They can stay there for some time, and then after they get bored they again come back to the material world. Or if they practice pure devotional service, they can be elevated to spiritual planets. So now coming back to your question, when we say liberation, do they not take birth? Well, they are not supposed to take birth because they have taken the birth in Brahman Jyoti, which means they have left their material body. Who has to take the birth? Who has a material body? But because even though they are at Brahman Jyoti, the desire is to be active and they don't find any active activity there. So they come back to material world by their own will because they are just bored from there. But when someone practice devotional service even in Brahman Jyoti, then they can come to the higher planets and then they don't come back. Did I answer your question, Madhji?
Yeah, yeah.
Clear,
Thanks.
right?
Yeah,
Okay. So, what is the avatar for Kali Yuga? The Lord says He incarnates in every age. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Kali Yuga avatar. This is a very beautiful picture. It's a very wonderful pastime where this is the king, actually a Muslim king, Chand Kazi, who was actually punishing devotees for doing Sankirtan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became really angry. And he actually collected all the villages. So, what you see, those fire, they are actually carrying that. And Lord Chaitanya came to his palace and he said, why are you stopping the Sankirtan, which is Hare Krishna Mahamantra? And Chand Kazi became sober, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, why you are now all of a sudden becoming sober? A very beautiful pastime. He says, yesterday night, he actually went and broke the mridanga of devotees and he warned them, I'll kill you. So that night, when he went back, he went to sleep. He had a dream. In that dream, Narsingadev appeared sitting on his chest, trying to rip apart his chest. He said, you dare to stop Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this, this Sankirtan movement? I will destroy you today. And then he begged apologies, and Chaitanya Narsingadev says, if you stop any of the Sankirtan, then I will surely come to kill you. And that's what he mentioned to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is actually none other than Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spreads the worship of Krishna by Sankirtan movement and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. So my dear devotees, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which we are chanting, was brought in by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. ISKCON is publicizing about that because we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's why it's a very important aspect of our devotional service to actually daily chant. What was his prediction? The culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world from town to town and village to village. He said this around 540 years back. And now you see, where are we sitting here? We are sitting wherever we are sitting in Michigan or some other place. There is still a ISKCON temple and we are discussing about Bhagavad Gita. We are discussing about Hare Krishna Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna's mantra and Mahaprabhu. It was predicted already. And you see Russia, oh my goodness. Russia is the biggest from devotees' perspective. There are so many devotees in Russia, more than even in America, practicing devotional service. Though they may not understand English, they use their own language and there are translators who translate from English to that. There is Russian version of Bhagavad Gita as it is as well. Very sincerely practicing. I've seen so many people when we go to some program, met them, very powerful devotees. Actually, you see their sadhana. My goodness, some of them chant 64 rounds every day. White body, Russians. Very important aspect actually there. So he as incarnation of Krishna is described secretly, not directly in revealed scripture, because he's a Channa avatar. Why he is a Channa avatar? Because he appeared as a devotee to show everyone how to perform devotional service. If he says I am Krishna, then nobody will follow, because he showed himself as a devotee of Krishna. This avatar does not kill the miscreant but delivers them by his causeless mercy. This is a very important contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Krishna came and killed the demons. Though he gave him liberation, gave them liberation, but he killed them. But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said he killed the sinful tendency which we have deep rooted within our heart, he appeared specifically to kill that mentality to perform sin, and he delivered everyone. That's a very beautiful contribution of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. So this is where we want to get into 4.9. But any questions or comments? I see we just have 8 minutes, so just want to see.
Prabhu
No,
Nitya
Prabhupada.
Mataji said before this, I think almost the same question. When we see this lot of stuff is happening near us now
Mm,
these days is like we call adharma.
mm,
Everywhere there is adharma. Even
mm.
people are tearing down the Sri Ramchandra's character or Mata Sita's character and God knows what. And thing is, it's no one like I know that we are not in that Kali Yoga, not even like halfway through.
Yeah.
So that's
Started
what I'm saying.
crawling.
Like even now, like what to do in here? Like even though if you see such a thing and like we get angry, I'm like we cannot do anything
Yeah.
because like everybody's karma, I guess. But other people are suffering. Lot of things are happening. The so some people might say like where is Krishna's avatar now?
Very nice. Okay. That's the question.
That's kind of my question. So like if somebody asked me one day and then I was like, well, we know there is a one avatar will in Kali Yuga will appear, but the time has not come yet. But
Mm.
we know like whatever is happening in the Adharma stage or is probably nothing that what we will gonna see in future. Then maybe that's why. But is that so?
Mataji, very good question. Actually, multiple points to that one. First and foremost thing, we like you said, we haven't even started crawling from that perspective in Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is going to get worse and worse and worse. Our ancestors, our grandparents would live for 90, 100 years. Right, and right now the average is almost 50, 60 years, and it will even go further down. The size of the people who were there in previous yuga was huge, and now you see the way things are going, it's going to get even more worse from that perspective. So the question may come, what is the solution for us? Multiple multifolded solution here. So one part is that um we offer prayers for everyone. We chant with the intention to not just purify our heart to, but actually think of the welfare of the world. For an example, in our temple, when we finish our Mangla Aarti in the morning at 5 a.m., which goes till 5:30, 5:40, and then the announcement, we actually chant couple of mantras for the welfare of all living entities, not just thinking about us, because people really need, and these prayers count. So we should actually, if we are chanting 16 round, we should may try to chant one more round for the welfare of the whole universe, however way we want to put in. Very important. Today's world is filled with, what do you call it, as self-centeredness. Everything around me, I don't care about what other people are supposed to get or gain. It's just about me. Just went for my son's game. So there are two parties in the game, or two opposite teams in the game. So there were supporters for team A and there were supporter for team B. When team A hits the goal, then The team A party claps, and then the team B supporter are sad, and then when team B hits same thought, this is aham mameti, around me. So self-centeredness, I, me, mine, and in anything in relationship to me is what this world is all about. But one has to come to that platform that where I be selfless, thinking about others, doing a giving rather than just taking. We are just taking from material world actually. There is hardly anyone who thinks about how can I give back. And that's the problem. What can we do here, unfortunately? We don't have much things in control. We may cover certain aspect and we should try to do as much as possible. But this is something which we can always do, praying for everyone and also actually being an example for others to follow. Like I keep giving that example, the world does not need a philosophy. World needs an examples to follow. Let's be an example so that other people can actually take the saying that, oh, this person is nice. And I didn't realize actually, even if we have certain deficiencies, I think about myself, I'm filled with deficiencies. But when I come across certain people, they speak about this. Oh, this person is so nice, very thoughtful about his things. Because then we don't want to hurt others. That's the that's the byproduct of bhakti. When we actually chant Krishna's name sincerely, it makes us such a soft-hearted person that we think for the welfare of everyone. And that is the platform we want to come into. Not everything we can control. And there are so many calamities in this world. For an example, the natural calamities, what can we do about it? But when those happen, you actually try to be compassionate and pray for those souls who are struggling, who are suffering. We see one way people think about, oh, do charity. Yeah, I'm not denying about that part. But there is something beyond that also, which is praying for them so that they don't have to suffer ever from that perspective. That is a very important aspect of our life. That is what I can think about, Madhaji.
Thank you, Prabhu. But people are so also like whenever you listen something, some
Hmm.
positive uh, idea or some positive thoughts, you try to tell them, like, because like jnana, once you share it, gains
Yeah.
gains among others, and that's how I also think. But some people have seen, like, even though you say they don't want to take it, but I cannot force it, so I just be like, that's fine, but they don't want to take it
Hmm.
because it doesn't matter. I think their ego or something else, I have no idea, but my point of view, I share it, but then it's up to their karma if they want to take it or not. That's I cannot control.
Yeah, it may not be necessarily related to karma. It is there. Free will is there, Mataji. Free will is nothing to do with karma. How I want to respond. So, for an example, if I am sick, I go to the doctor. Doctor gives me a medicine. Man, take medicine. Otherwise, you are in a deep trouble. Now, if I don't want to take the medicine, doctor can't force me, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Ultimately, I'm suffering. But I don't want to take up. I don't think I'm sick. I don't want to follow doctor. Whose problem is that? Is that my karma? No, it is my free will. I'm using my free will in a wrong way. So someone doesn't want to do it. This is unfortunate situation. That's why what we do is we give them prasad. Not everyone is actually open to hear and open to apply in their life. For an example, I may keep telling, please chant more rounds, please chant more rounds. Not necessary everyone will follow. And I have to, as a preacher, I just have to accept it. That's how it is going to go. Because at the end of the day, if someone is sick, I can tell this is the way to get out. But if someone doesn't want to follow, I can't force things. So we pray for them, we give them prasad, and then leave it there. When you pray for the soul, it actually opens their bhakti account. And maybe not in this life, but in next life, sometime they will come back.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And that's the beauty about bhakti, because it has nothing to do with you have to be physically there in that person's life. It can manifest in their life in various ways. Various ways. For an example, when we think about Ratnakar, who was actually killing animals, what is his karma to become Valmiki? Not karma. Becoming a Valmiki was not his karma, but by mistake he came in association with great sage like Narada Muni, and he became what a perfect saint actually. Not that he was willing to follow or willing to do anything, but Narada Muni showed him, and that was his purity. And that is what we lack, to be honest. When we are not pure, when we come in association of impure people, they will not accept it. And that's why purity is the force. The more intense bhakti we do, the more